going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right?
Very.
So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Swing and a miss. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Fans being out there making this a great impact.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Duck Insider on a Monday after game week, and a win in the books for Oregon football, a win in the books for Oregon soccer and Oregon volleyball, closing out their weekend with a win as well. The Ducks, they got it done across the board over the weekend, and it started on the gridiron. What an electric atmosphere it was at Autzen Stadium on Saturday. The stripe out looked fantastic, and I was talking with Jerry and Georgie in the booth. I'm not sure the last time that any of us can remember an August sellout. Yeah, great job, Duck fans, being at Autzen Stadium, doing one tremendous job supporting the Ducks against Idaho as Oregon got their 24-14 victory in week one. Did it go as pretty as Oregon necessarily thought it was going to? Maybe not. But you look at some of the statistics across the board, and Oregon did, at least on paper, really dominate this game in terms of total yardage. 487 yards of total offense for Oregon compared to 217 for Idaho. Ducks more than doubled up the Vandals. They did the same in time of possession. 39-plus minutes for Oregon, just over 20 minutes time of possession for Idaho. The Ducks had the ball and controlled the ball for the majority of the ball game. In terms of the first down differential, 31 for the Ducks, 10 for Idaho, more than tripled moving the ball down the field. For Oregon, when they were able to move the ball offensively, it was long and monotonous and sustained drives. And that's a little twofold. You get those long drives, and you like the sustainability of being able to move the ball down the field consistently and march it for first down after first down. Now, I'm sure Coach Lanning would probably tell you, as we'll hear coming up a little bit later, a little bit more explosive plays would also be nice for Oregon to really break the top off of a defense. But on offense, Oregon was moving the ball down the field. And Oregon was converting in the scenarios where they needed to. 7 of 16 on third down. Held Idaho 2 of 12 on third down. You look at all of those statistics, and especially in the red zone, Oregon scored 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal. They were 4 of 4 on their red zone trips. Oregon converted when they got in the red area. And yet still, I'm sure that a lot of Duck fans, as well as myself a little bit, is feeling like there might be a little bit left on the table that was there on Saturday for Oregon. And I'm sure Oregon felt that way as well. You'll hear Coach Lanning talk about it, the standard. It wasn't met. But it's better to get a win and learn from it than having to learn from a loss. And Oregon started the season 1-0 with a victory. All of those statistics probably should result in a commanding win. It was closer than it was on paper, in large part because, especially I think through the first 3 quarters and a lot of those critical plays, Idaho won a lot of critical plays. They stopped Oregon on the first 2 fourth downs that they went through. Oregon missed a field goal. There was a fumble when Oregon was driving. That is 24 points on the board right there. You think the fourth down conversions, they end up resulting in touchdowns, and then driving into the red area. If that was a touchdown, the field goal made, that's 24 points. It's the difference between a 24-14 game and a 48-14 game. Nonetheless, a win is a win is a win is a win. And starting 1-0 is certainly better than the alternative, and the Ducks, they're off to a 1-0 start. Coach Lanning, he talked with the media after the game. Some reactions, certainly a lot to work on as Oregon went to the doctor on Sunday and today. But Coach Lanning, he had his thoughts post-game. Here is head coach Dan Lanning.
All right, appreciate everybody's patience. Different than what we thought it might look like. On the same note, got to give a lot of credit to Idaho. They played a really a good game. They didn't give us anything for free. A lot of learning moments for us. Excited to watch the film and get back to work because there's certainly some things that we can clean up. Great teams are able to learn from tight matches. This was a tight match. And we didn't create some of the explosive plays I was hoping that we could create offensively. Gave up a couple critical plays on defense. So certainly some things for us to attack, but a lot of credit to Coach Eck and his guys. They came out and played a good game.
What was just it about Idaho's both offense and defense that just made them hard to kind of adjust to during the game today?
I'll have to go back and watch the film exactly. I thought they did a good job of stopping our interior run game, and we struggled at times to get the ball in the perimeter and be able to move it down the field. I think they did a really good job of staying on top, defensively as well to stop us from creating, explosive plays down the field. And then they did a good job generating some pressure, so we have to evaluate, some of those looks.
Frustrations offensively. What can you say about defensively? I mean, you held them to under 50 yards rushing, 2 for 12 on third down. What do you think your defense did tonight?
I think there's some really good positives, but I think there's also some growth moments there. We were poor against the screen at times. Some of our situational play where we knew tricks would come up, they did, and didn't execute, properly in those situations. So we're going to look at it to figure out what can we improve, how can we learn. I think great teams do that.
When the offensive line has been such a strength the last 2 seasons, they had 3 sacks allowed, stacked fumble was in there. What were your thoughts, particularly on the right side of the offensive line today in terms of execution?
Yeah, I wouldn't pick a side in general, other than there's certainly some truth to that. We have to go back and evaluate the film and evaluate how we can improve and get better there. I think an early sack there was when we actually gave Chip protection on the edge and knocked him into an available gap to where he was able to create pressure. But that's something that we can attack and improve for sure.
Kind of mentioned difficulty getting the ball downfield through the pass. Was that just what they were doing schematically in terms of taking things away, or did you think there were more opportunities maybe to hit some of those?
We'll have to go back and watch the film. I mean, we did throw for 380 yards, so there was still some passing game. And sometimes you have to take what they give you, but we have to be a team that can create some explosive plays, and we didn't generate enough of those today.
Coach Gabriel, I think 49 attempts for the game, a lot of passes through the air. Was that kind of the game plan going in, or was that something that you guys kind of adjusted to since the run game just was having a hard time getting going?
Probably a combination of both. We had to be a team that can run and pass the ball. We weren't running the ball effectively, so we had to pass the ball to get first downs.
Dan, just your thoughts on Tez's reliability tonight and the chemistry he's been showing with Dylan, in the fall.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think there were some moments that were really strong, and then there's some moments that in every facet can improve. So, watching the film, I think will give some great indications of where we can get better.
Coach, you mentioned the hope for explosive plays moving forward. With a quarterback that can run like Dylan can, how do you plan on incorporating that kind of as the season goes on?
I think you have to evaluate every single team you're playing and how they defend you and see if that can be an element or a piece of your game. That's certainly something that we have. I don't know that it's always wise to run your quarterback every opportunity you get to.
What did you make of Brandon Johnson's game today in his debut? He had the juggling interceptions, but also was in on a couple TFLs and making plays.
Yeah, I thought, he showed up in big moments. It's great to be able to see him, kind of get a feel for things. The pick in the end zone was a really, really big play, obviously for us. And I'm excited about the player that Brandon is. Just what we thought we were getting when we brought him in. I think some of that showed up today.
Can you assess Dylan's debut just kind of in an overall sense?
Yeah, I think ultimately Dylan operated, within the offense well. Thought he understood what we were trying to accomplish. Made some good decisions. I think we got to try to figure out how to eliminate some of the pressures that showed up and some of the sacks that showed up. But I have to go to the film and watch that. That doesn't necessarily mean it was the quarterback. Doesn't necessarily mean it was the O-line. We got to go evaluate it.
The productivity you got out of your tight end group today, was that sort of by design, or was that just sort of you taking what the defense was giving you guys?
We got a really good tight end group, and ones that we certainly want to be able to get the ball, right? And that being said, it's the combination of both, but knowing that you have weapons there is something we need to be able to utilize.
Defensive personnel-wise, didn't see Jeff very much in the second half, if at all. Was he banged up, and was Taishim missing in the first half due to a discipline issue or something? Or?
Yeah, I think both those guys can go, and probably Jeffrey is a little bit of a decision on do we need Jeff to go right now. But yeah, both those guys will be able to go for us in the future.
Saw Dylan hit his hand in the first half. Seemed to be flexing it a little bit. You know, he's okay as far as you know.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't been able to get a medical report yet, but I think he's in good shape.
Coach, I'm just wondering, what did you tell the team in the locker room after the win?
Well, that's for the team. That's for the team in the locker room. If we wanted you guys there, we would have everybody else in there.
How about just what the mood is generally amongst those guys?
There's areas for improvement for us right now. You know, you celebrate wins in our program when that happens, but there's some areas for improvement.
Coach, when you look at the stat sheet, it indicates you guys fairly dominated the game, but the scoreboard said otherwise. Do you sort of just chalk that up to untimely change of possessions, or do you think the final score thoroughly indicates how evenly matched up the game ended up being?
We don't live in hypotheticals. That's the score of the game, right? That's the reality. There's things that we did to put ourselves in situations where we didn't get to finish drives, and that's the reality. They stopped us on fourth down at times. When we went for it, they did a great job stopping a punt fake. So there were some opportunities out there that we didn't take advantage of that they did, but the score is what the score was.
A lot of teams would leave week one with a double-digit victory and almost 500 yards offense, feeling really good about yourself. You're talking about how much you have to clean up still. What does that say about this team and the expectations you have for yourself this year?
Well, we have high expectations for ourselves for sure, but every single game, we're finding things that we can go clean up.
When you play a team that maybe runs as many trick plays as Idaho, and you're playing them in the first game of the season when you don't really have any other film to rely on other than their spring game, was that hard to prepare for? Did you know that they were going to, run that many trick plays? And how did you feel like the team kind of adjusted to them throughout the game? And how prepared were you after they were played?
Yeah, I think that's part of Coach Eck's identity. I think they've done a really good job of taking advantage of it, but we were aware of it. We had some things alert for it, and we just didn't take advantage of those.
We obviously talked for a lot the last couple of weeks about Charlie starting at center and execution there, snaps and the like. How did you feel he did, and whatever issues there may have been up front, what was attributable to either calls versus just pressures that popped accordingly?
Yeah, all that I'll probably have to watch the film to get a great assessment of. I wasn't able to do that during the game.
Coach, we kind of saw the birth of Mateo last season and the impact he can have. Obviously, today a really big start. I believe 2 sacks in this one. Just what's it been like watching him grow, and how much better do you think he can get throughout the season with the performance that he had today?
Yeah, proud of his growth. I think that edge room in general has some really talented players that have done a really good job attacking things. But proud of where Mateo's at, and continuing to see him continue to grow will be great for us in the future.
Usually a lot of times, you walk away from a game like this and you're happy that you were challenged early on because that, pays off down the line. But with a game like this and the expectation you guys have for yourself this season, do you feel like this is sort of that game where you're proud you guys got challenged, or is there a little bit of disappointment there?
I think every single game we look for an opportunity to grow, right? And we certainly walked away from this game with opportunities to grow. Always going to be, like I said, celebrate a victory, but there's some opportunities for us to get better for sure.
What do you make of just Betcher's play with Boston not being able to play most of the second half and just the impact he had?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the film. I know Bryce flies around. I know it means a lot to him and he cares. I think that's always going to show up for Bryce.
This being Noah's first game back, what did you see from his play, and how, just as a coach to see him out there, what was it like for you?
I'm excited for him to get out there and play football again. I know how much the game means to him, how much he loves it. So definitely excited to see him get out there and get in the thick of things.
Based on what you saw from Dylan Gabriel home debut today, what are some good things you think he can bring to the table for the rest of the season?
Well, I think he's a really intelligent player. I think he brings great leadership, calm and poised, in situations. I think we saw a lot of that today. So looking for some opportunities to build off that and grow.
That's head coach Dan Lanning after Oregon's Week 1 24-14 win over Idaho. As always, brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. The quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, his first time suiting up in green and yellow in front of the Onsen faithful in a game that's going to count on the record books. 84% completion percentage, 41 completions, 380 yards. Statistically pretty good day. We'll get to talk with the QB when we return. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Welcome back to Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Oregon got the Week 1 victory over Idaho 24-14. 1-0 in the record book, but certainly things to clean up for Oregon and Dan Lanning's squad. And the quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, took a lot of accountability. On the stat sheet, had a strong day. 41 completions on 49 attempts. Threw the ball a fair amount, threw it a lot. You heard Coach Lanning talk about Oregon didn't have as much success running the ball as they wanted to. Were forced to throw, but 41 for 49, 84% completion. Bo Nix just set the NCAA completion record, and 84%, it's higher than the mark that Bo set last year. 380 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, a 162.3 QB rating for Dillon Gabriel. Statistically solid. But I'm sure that the quarterback would tell you there's still some stuff to clean up. Let's hear from Oregon's QB, Dillon Gabriel.
Obviously a prolific day statistically, but as Coach was saying, a lot to learn from too. Probably not exactly before what you guys wanted. How do you evaluate it?
Yeah, not stats are one thing, but we're focused on winning, and a win's a win. We'll say that, but there's a lot we need to improve on.
What areas?
I think just finishing, not beating ourselves up. More explosive plays, so we're not in as many third downs, and just being efficient. I feel like we beat ourselves in a lot, and they did a great job as well. But it was just strenuous at times.
Dillon, you've gotten used to playing in season openers now and gotten used to playing your first game with new teams. How does this one compare to some of the other ones you've had in your collegiate career?
Yeah, different for sure, but great time being in Austin. But you sit back and you look now. There's a bunch on tape you want back and you want to continue to improve on.
What happened on each of the sacks?
Yeah, I think on the sacks, sack fumble, of course on my end, just got to have 2 hands on it. Of course, would like to get the ball out as well, but that happened, and it can't happen. And then, the other one on third, just would like that back to get the ball out on time in that, hole with that pressure, or even just get to the progression a little quicker. So, like I said, it can't happen, but we got to be better.
How would you assess the operation pre-snap with Charlie?
Solid. I think, we bit ourselves, in the foot with the alignments, with 2 explosive plays, to get us going. And you don't know what play it's going to be that could be the difference. But, you look back now and there's just things pre-snap that we need to clean up. Shift, movements, motions, that's things that you got to be clean at, and there's no there's no excuse. So.
How do you feel?
Hand's good. You know, I guess I had my real moment of not wearing the red jersey, but you know, it is what it is. It's football too, so it just comes with it. Little ice, little ointment, you're good.
So finger.
Hand, I just hit his head, but I'm good. You know, played through it. We're solid.
How do you feel like you connected with Tez?
Good. You know, I think we did you know, some good in creating completions, taking the easy money, and I think that was a highlight of the day for sure.
Knowing what this offense is capable of, is there a little bit of disappointment that you guys didn't get to show as much to do?
Yeah, I wouldn't say, you know, disappointment. It's just more like, gosh, we're explosive. You know, we got a lot of weapons, and I think at times we bit ourselves in the foot, and it was strenuous. You know, it was, when it didn't have to be. So, you know, we'll look back on it and need to get better. Practice got to look a certain way. There's got to be a certain energy because that just can't happen.
You have another opportunity back here at Autzen next weekend on that Saturday. What excites you about that matchup against Boise State? That's just over a week away.
Yeah, excitement is, you know, we can get better. You know, have a great week of practice. Like I said, it's got to look a certain way. You know, and going into there, can't take any opponent lightly, and I don't think we did so. But like I said, execution. You know, pre-snap penalties. Just there's no excuse for it.
How nice is it to have a defense like yours that when you have not your A game as an offense, you can still rely on them there?
Yeah, thank God for them. You know, we put them in a tough spot, and I don't want to be a broken record for you guys, but that can't happen. You know what I mean? They play their butt off and, you know, create 2 turnovers in timely matters, and then, you know, we have 2 4th down, you know, conversions that didn't go our way, which, you know, turned into points or put them in a bad spot. So. Yeah, like I said, you look at that and it can't happen.
How much of your running or not running is your discretion versus is this by design that you either don't want to or they don't want you to run that much right now?
I don't think that's a thing at all. You know, I think when you are forced to run, then you do so, but you don't want to move unnecessarily as well within the pocket. So I think when everything clears out and there's nothing. There's moving your feet, but then also we have great running backs that, you know, we utilize in different ways where, you know, we do get numbers back in the run game. But I don't think it's a thing that, you know, I can't run. Shoot, I ran a bunch. I think it's just a certain way and getting touches to certain people as well.
What made it tough to get the ball downfield passing, and what are keys to kind of improving there?
Yeah, you know, definitely something that we want to do more of. Just the opportunity to present itself in certain times, but we have vertical threats. We have guys that can run, so definitely something we want to do as well.
They playing a lot of too high show?
Yeah, you know, they had a bunch of cloud going into it. I think that's why, you know, naturally whenever they're taken away, there's things you take advantage of, and yeah, I thought we did that well at times, and then thought at times we you know, didn't execute on our end. And, you know, that starts with me. It starts with, you know, get the boys going and not being in strenuous drives, you know, that feel like you got to be perfect.
You weren't here last year, obviously, but Noah missed most of last year. What is it like for a guy to get out there? And, I mean, you can obviously relate to it, missing seasons with injuries and then getting back out there. What is it like to see a guy like Noah just run around like that?
Yeah, just happy for him. You know, I think, you know, you see him from January putting all the work, and I think he's, you know, definitely doing work before then. But his journey individually, you know, just respect all the hard work he put in. And then when you see him be able to have that time, you know, out and play, real game time, it's special. You know, you don't ever take that for granted. And thought he did an amazing job as well. You know, just, you know, the runs on the perimeter, downhill runs, thought he did really well.
Coach Lanning speaks to your leadership, the way you lead this team. What was your message to them throughout the game, where maybe things weren't clicking in the right moments? Not going how you're picturing it? What did you kind of remind your team, instilling them as the game went on?
Yeah, it's a tough message, right? You know, initially you're like, you know, like, let's just get a drive going. Let's not beat ourselves. Let's fix it. You know what I mean? Let's change, you know, kind of the script of how things are going. But when it continually happens at times, you just got to be on it, you know, and find solutions. And things aren't always going to go your way. But, you know, I pride myself on being a solution guy. Not emotional, and just trying to, you know, have efficient drives and then scores.
Now that it's after a game, what us through the next 24 hours in terms of what's your process and how much of that process involves others? Like, do you have like a 7 a.m. meeting set with Charlie to go over film? Like, are you that kind of guy, or do you want to look at it yourself? Is there something you're already looking to focus on? What's that look like for you?
What's cool is having the tablets. You get to watch a little bit of it. So in game, you get to do that. But I'll definitely take another look. We'll have family dinner at my house, and I'll be on my iPad, just kind of go through the drives. Then I'll wake up in the morning. We'll do it again. Whether Coach Stein or QBs, and then we'll do it as a unit, and we'll continue to break it down. But I think you look at certain drives. There's certain plays that lead up to that play that you wouldn't even be in that situation. And the truth is, the difference is within 5 to 10 plays. Mm-hmm. And you look back on it, and it's like, how do you not put yourself in that position? Or when you're in that position, how do you execute and find a way to prolong the drive and finish with the score? So that's kind of how my next 24 hours will be.
Is that what makes today so frustrating? Is 5 plays go a different way, and we're not having any kind of this narrative?
Yeah, I think it's more frustrating because we have a standard for ourselves and how we want to play. Like I said, whenever you look at the film, there's good, there's bad, there's things you want to improve on. But you got to take it, with that and not be too emotional. Of course, that's not, what we want to display, but that's the reality of it. So, like I said, practice got to look a certain way. The way we, head into meetings. Not saying it wasn't, but you're only as good as your last performance. So how do you fix that and be better the next week?
Do you see any benefit
Last question.
A wake-up call like this in the first game of your season, where you kind of realize that, hey, we may not be as good as we think we are, and we need to buckle down?
We'd like to say yes and no. I want to give you a real answer in that, but no, but yes. So that's kind of my mixed answer. No being you don't want it ever to be like that and strenuous, but yes, we found a way to win, and you were put into certain situations where 2-minute end of half, 2-minute or 4-minute end of game, where we could have definitely been better, and then you get all these situations within a game. So yes on that end, no, and you don't want to be in those situations.
All right, thanks, Dylan.
That's quarterback Dillon Gabriel after Oregon's 24-14 win over Idaho in Week 1. And you heard Dillon Gabriel say, yeah, situationally, there's a lot of things that there is still to clean up. And sure, there were certainly some things left on the table as well. But there are also things to be happy about with the victory. And getting a victory is ultimately what is most important. Shannon asked on Facebook what the average depth of target was for Dillon Gabriel, rather average completion per play, 9.3 yards per completion. So 41 completions, 49 attempts, 12 of the 41, they went to Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson playing with his brother last year. How is his connection going to work with Dillon Gabriel? We found out. They connected early. They connected often. We're going to hear from Oregon's wide receiver who led the team and, receptions, touchdowns, was up there in yards. Tez Johnson, he's coming up next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's still time to squeeze more out of summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now, if I can just squeeze more clothes into this suitcase for my road trip, got it!
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends September 3rd. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
There's still time to squeeze more out of summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now, if I can just squeeze more clothes into this suitcase for my road trip, got it!
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends September 3rd. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're still talking Oregon football, talking about passing game. We just heard from the QB, Dylan Gabriel. Now, someone he hooked up with early and often on Saturday. 12 receptions, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a lot of critical situations. It was Tez Johnson on the other side of the lefty arm of Dylan Gabriel. Let's hear from Tez and his thoughts after Oregon's victory. Here is Tez Johnson.
Obviously, it was good to have a win, but we got to go back to the doctor on Monday and fix our mistakes. Never going to be mad about a win. A win is a win. But we know that's not our standard. We're going to try our best to uphold that standard.
Was there ever many points when you felt like you guys had good rhythm offensively?
Yeah, we had really good rhythm. Now, we just have to finish. That's exactly what it is. We have to finish in the red zone. We got down there multiple times. We just couldn't finish. But that's something that we'll take, watch, go to the doctor, and fix.
Any other kind of key things you guys want to look at when you go into the doctor, other than the red zone?
I mean, besides what we had today, we just beating ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties, just going and watching film and taking it like a man, take the criticism, and let's just be a pro about it.
What does that feel like for you personally today? You know, get the first catch of the season, get the first touchdown of the season, get some of those firsts out of the way.
It's good. I just know there's more to come. Not really worried about it. It's a team sport. Glad I got a touchdown from my teammates, so it was really good.
Tez, why do you think you guys had some of those struggles in the red zone today, and kind of some of the struggles to have those explosive plays?
Shooting ourselves in the foot. A lot of penalties. I think they called a Johnny twice on not being on the line or something like that, illegal formation, which, I mean, I didn't see it, but that's what they called, so what now what?
How do you feel like you connected with Dylan in this game, and how do you feel like it's growing between you guys as the fall goes on?
We connected really good. I told him every drive that I believed in him.
Yeah.
I could just see it on his face. He was a little hesitant, but I believe in him. We all believe in him, and we just know come next week, we're going to be dialed in.
What does it feel like on the field for, a game like this? There's the tension of, the expectation for the game to not be, as close as it might be.
I mean, we don't really care what the expectations is for what we do, but then again, it's just forget everybody but us. We focus on ourselves. We don't care what the media says. We just got to go out there and play our game.
Were they doing anything in particular to limit the deep throws, or do you think that there's something you guys were doing wrong? Or?
No, they were just dropping out of there, like running back, just scared to get beat over top. And I feel like we just tried to force a little bit, but we just got to recognize it and play our own game.
I mean, you're a returner to this team. You came out under the Alton lights before. What was it like to kind of run out of that tunnel tonight? First time this season. See the crowd behind your back on a day. It's really hot out. What was that like coming out of that tunnel for you tonight?
It felt amazing. That's the best feeling I had since I've been in Austin. It was sold out, so I really thank the fans. I love the fans. Just being in Austin just felt great. It was electric, like always.
Tez, what did it mean for you to have the performance that you did? I believe tied your reception record, 12 today. What did it mean to you to just kind of get on the right foot in this first game and, to keep on rolling for the rest of the season?
I just knew I wouldn't have that success without my teammates. Obviously, the coach trusted me and my teammates trusted me, and I just made a play whenever it was there. I just gave it my all and just continue to be that guy for the team. And if it's not me, trust that someone else is going to make the play too.
A lot of low punts came at you today. What was that like getting all those reps today? And was that Was that a part of your game that you take a lot of pride in?
We knew all week he was not a very good punter. It was going to be a lot of fair catches, but I try to be aggressive a little bit and try to get a return. But they covered pretty good today. Credit to them.
Brendan Johnson had a really good day. Yeah, it's obviously the interception, but is this just what you've kind of been seeing him from practice? Because no Oregon fans,
I came to him right before the game and I told him, show everybody why you belong here. And seeing him to get that interception is really, really great. He's been doing it in practice. He's worked his butt off, and we're glad to have him on his team and ready to go through the season with him because he's really good.
Knowing what this team is sort of capable of out there from an offensive and a defensive standpoint, is it kind of hard to know that you guys put that performance on tape and it wasn't your best?
We knew it wasn't our best performance, but who cares what anybody else thinks? We just going to go back to the doctor and fix it. So, we're not satisfied about what we did today, but a win is a win. I'm going to keep saying a win is a win, and we just got to fix our mistakes.
I think that Tez Johnson hit the nail on the head with that last answer. Yeah, there's a lot to fix. There always is. Go to the doctor. We'll fix it. Don't listen to the outside noise. There's next week coming up. Oregon football, they're 1-0 after week 1. Also 1-0 on the weekend, Oregon soccer. We're catching up with head coach Graeme Abel after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano with Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel. Coach,
so buddy, how we doing?
Doing fantastic, even better after Sunday, a victory over CSUN. Just overall general thoughts of the match.
Yeah, I thought we played well. Thought we controlled possession really well. Moved the ball well. Obviously, the couple of goals that we were able to score was good. Disappointed how we handled kind of the last 5 minutes of the game. Just thought that piece kind of, game management piece, we need to continue to mature as a team that way. But no, solid performance.
Continuing to defend Pape of utmost importance, 3-0 now at home. How critical is it to defend your home turf?
Well, we look at the opposite way. You attack from home, you don't defend. So that's the way we kind of proposition it to the team in terms of that piece. And defenders being on the back foot, we want to make sure we're on the front foot when we go about that piece. So it's important we play well at home. Important we, like we said, we attack, and when when we're trying to get the ball back, we don't look at it from the standpoint of defending. We look at it as, okay, let's go get the ball back. Let's be on the front foot that way. So it's important how we have that mindset when we approach games. But we always want to play well at home and imprint ourselves upon opponents and be the best version of ourselves.
Now, I'm really excited that you said that because it seemed like your team came out with a flurry early. 5 shots in the first 14 minutes. Is that tactical to get out there and put pressure and set the tone on the opposing team that early?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can, imprint yourselves upon the opponent, like I said earlier, it's key because you want to gain momentum in the game. You don't want to allow the other team to do the opposite to you and for them to gain momentum. So it's important that we get momentum in the game, act on our game plan, do the things that we want to do, and then that allows us to grow into the game.
How much does your depth play a piece into that, where the starters are able to go as hard as they are and get as many opportunities early because there is the depth piece behind them where they know that for the most part they're probably going to be able to get a rest and rest their legs, and there's another wave coming in behind them?
Yeah, we're lucky that we've got depth on the team this year, got experience on the team this year, which is important. And so as one group leaves the field and another group comes in, we've been able to get good production from the group that's coming in. And so great mindset from those guys to come in and affect the game right away.
You talk about attacking at home, and specifically at home this season, a lot of the scoring opportunities have come right after there was a scoring chance that wasn't capitalized upon. Same thing happened in this game, where in the first half, looked like maybe the best offensive chance, just missed, and then just 2 minutes later, Cam Bourne's able to find the back of the net. Is that sort of a theme that you're discovering with your team's identity, that they're able to bounce back after a near miss and turn it into an actual make?
Yeah, we talk a lot about reactions. You react one or two ways, right? Your head drops or you respond positively. And so whether we lose the ball, there's then an opportunity to go win it back immediately. If something goes well for you, you can, the next time you react, you can take your foot off the gas or you can go for it again. And so everything's about having positive reactions, whether it goes for us or whether the action prior goes for us or against us. Everything's about being as positive as you can and continuing our momentum or getting our momentum back and making sure, again, we continue to be the best version of ourselves.
You talked in the postgame about stacking moments together. Mm-hmm. What needs to be done to continue to stack those moments so that you get the results that you're looking for from your team?
Doing the things that we want to do. Keeping possession of the ball, getting into good parts of the field, and the final third. We obviously have a particular game plan, a certain set of values and standards that we hold ourselves to, and it's doing that repeatedly within games to make sure that, again, we're putting forth the best performances.
Last week you talked about being technically better with the ball. It's what you wanted to work on for this week. How did you feel like your team did? Assess that ability from your team.
Thought we were good 0 through 75. We hit 75, and then we knew probably a little bit earlier, probably 70. We knew that, they would slow down just in terms of the amount of possession that we had, amount of possession we had in the first half. We talked at halftime that they were going to slow down as a team, and we probably only hit about the 60-minute mark, and that started to happen. And I think when they started to slow down, the opposition started to slow down, we started to slow down our possession in terms of continuing to keep the pace of playing, keep a high technical standard. And so that's, again, another area where we need to mature and continue to grow. That, as the opponent drops away, we need to keep our standards and keep playing the way that we want to play.
In that first half, it seemed like CSUN, they had opportunities on net. Maddie Goldberg back there had 5 saves in the first half. Her ability to keep a clean sheet, especially early, to make it so you're not chasing a game, how important is that?
Yeah, I mean, we'd prefer not to give up the opportunities, but, I think any team has any successful team has an elite goalkeeper, and we're fortunate, with Maddie and the other 3 as well, with Anna and Julia and Leah, that we've got good goalkeepers here in the program, and so when they're called upon, then they're able to make those saves. But we prefer to be a little bit more tighter in terms of how we defend those moments and ensure that we're not giving up those opportunities.
You outshot CSUN 25-10 in the match. getting those opportunities more often than your opponent, it's obviously critical when the goals in the back of the net are the ones that count.
Yeah, and I think we've done a good job of, not just shooting from 40 yards. I mean, in college soccer, you can rack up a lot of shots really quickly just based on how they counter shot. But I feel as though we've done a good job of, when we've been able to create goal-scoring opportunities and create shots, that they've been legitimate opportunities that have been, true shots on goal.
We talked last year about that quality of shot and how important it was to get a strong quality of shot. What goes into this year's team being able to find a higher percentage quality of shot where they are able to convert more?
Probably more creative in the final third. I think technically we've got better players in the final third for this year, and so able to maintain possession in the final third. Good decision making. We have good players in the wide areas that are able to create 1v1 scenarios, whether they beating players for crosses or coming inside to shoot. And then we do a good job of when we've been in the final third, if team tries to get out of it, we're able to pin them back in and again have a next wave of an attack from there. So that allows us to stay into kind of that part of the field longer, and then that gives us more goal scoring opportunities.
Both goals in this game off the foot of Cam Bourne came from crosses. Just her ability to become available and be an option inside of the box to convert in the back of the net. What have you seen from her?
Well, we've known about that, since we recruited Cam. When we watched her in the recruiting process, we knew she could score goals. That was a really appealing piece for us, that she could deliver crosses, but she could also get in the 18-yard box and score as well. So it was just activating that part of her game and giving her the confidence. And she had a few near misses last season, and has had a few near misses this season, but the last couple of games she's been able to get into the goals. So we now want to help her continue with that momentum and not put too much pressure on her, but just continue to help her with regards to being productive in the final third. But we've always known that's been part of Cam's game, so great that it's now starting to come out.
Someone who fed the ball into the box on one of those crosses and whose speed has really made an impact, especially in yesterday's game, Grace Mensah. Her ability with her pace alone to set the tone and outrun an opponent. What type of element does that bring your team, especially on the outside?
It is. I mean, the speed's one part of what Grace does. I mean, she's got a really good brain in terms of how she positions herself to receive a ball and positions herself to get faced up in order to take advantage of that speed. It's an advantage to have the speed piece, but you need to understand how to use it as well. And so she's developing all the time. She's getting better technically all the time as well to ensure she can have end product at what she does. And she was able to get a couple of goals for herself in the preseason. And so we're hoping she can now get on the board in the regular season as well and get herself a bit of momentum. But whenever she gets herself faced up versus players, she's a dangerous player for sure.
Closing out the non-conference this weekend, it's a little bit of a wonky schedule. You go on the road on Thursday to play Texas Tech and then come back home on Sunday. Just talk to me about the schedule throughout this week and how playing a road-home matchup changes things for your squad.
Yeah, we needed an additional game on the schedule. Scheduling's always tough, and the opportunity to go to Tech worked out. We were supposed to play them here a couple of years ago and it didn't work out, and so opportunity to get them on the schedule for this year and go to their place. We knew we needed another road challenge and a good one, so it was a good opportunity for us. And then we'll travel there Wednesday, come back Friday, and then set ourselves up for Sacramento State on Sunday.
First off, with Texas Tech on the road, just the scouting report against them.
Yeah, I mean, Lubbock's a tough place to go to. It's never easy to travel there. But they're a good team. They'll be big, they'll be athletic. Tom Stone is one of the nation's best coaches, a really established coach. Set system that they've played for many years. Score lots of goals, wide areas, shoot a lot. So it'll be a tough game for us. But good challenging game for us.
Sacramento State as well, them coming into Pape Field on Sunday. Scouting report on them.
Yeah, Randy has been there for a long time. Randy Dedini does another good job, gets really good players out of California, and another team that will be athletic and direct, difficult to play against, good on set pieces. So another good challenge coming into Pape as well.
Looking forward now to the end of non-conference play, what do you want from your team to continue to work on, as this is the last weekend before Big Ten play starts?
Yeah, it's the things you've seen so far from us. I think probably the best team we've had here in terms of technically, in terms of handling the ball and keeping possession of the ball, and I think the organization's been really good. So we want to continue within those pieces, continue to be able to press teams, which has been really, really effective, especially here at Pape as well. So, the final third piece, especially as we get, towards Big Ten play, we want to make sure we sharpen that piece up and keep creating those goal-scoring opportunities and just being, I've said it a number of times now, but, being the very best version of ourselves as many times as we can.
How much have you continued to learn about your team throughout this early part of season? You're 5 games in. How much have you learned so far? A ton. You learn all the way up to the end of the season. You're learning every single day about them individually, as a group, what combinations start to come out, what chemistry starts to develop within the team naturally. Every day is a learning process. Is there anything else fans should know before they come out and support in that non-conference finale?
No, again, we appreciate it. You're thinking back to the fans we had again on Sunday. It's awesome that the community's out there, and we've got students coming back soon, which is great. So just keep coming out and supporting the team. They love it, and I feel as though they've done a really good job. Being entertainment to Pape. So yeah, keep coming out and supporting us.
Texas Tech, 5 o'clock on the road, and then that's on Thursday, and then on Sunday, Sacramento State coming to town, that game at 1 o'clock at Pape. Coach, best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Tremendous job this weekend.
Awesome.
Looking forward to another one next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Coach Abel. We'll be back once again, continuing to talk about Oregon football. They also went 1-0 this weekend. That's on the dock when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I envisioned a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Wasn't it so fun on Saturday for Shout? Yeah, that was awesome. Absolutely electric. Shout being back at Autzen Stadium. It just never gets old. It does get new, though, for the Oregon defense as a transfer-in first-year player this year, Brandon Johnson. How about the impact that he made on Saturday? A toe-tap juggling catch in the end zone while Idaho was driving, stifled the drive. He got into the backfield on a tackle for loss. At one point, it looked like he almost recovered a fumble before it was overturned to a forward pass. He was absolutely everywhere. We're getting a closer look into the new Oregon defensive back that made quite an introduction. Here's Brandon Johnson.
How do you evaluate that? Obviously, guys get the win. There's, as Coach was talking about, some moments to learn from. How do you evaluate this?
Yeah, there were some highs, there were some lows, there was good and bad. Just go to the doctor, get back to work. That's it.
Have you had a chance to see like a replay of your interception, and what was your impression of how that came together?
One of my teammates just showed me in the locker room. It was a good play.
What was? Just take us through that play, I guess. What were you thinking and seeing?
Just doing my job. Do your job. The plays come to you.
They tested you a couple times. Do you kind of like that challenge when they kind of attack you early and you're able to respond, obviously?
Yeah, I expect it. And I like it. It helps me get into my rhythm.
Obviously, first game, everybody's looking to kind of start a season strong. But when you're new to a team and you've played football, you've got a bit of a reputation. Are you trying to show, I'm here to help this team? Are you trying to make a play like that if you get the chance, essentially?
Always, but I'm never trying to be a superhero. Just doing my job, and then if the plays come to me, make the plays that come to me.
Coach just talked a lot about the standard of this team. Do you feel like the defense met the standard that you guys have set for your yells this season? And where do you feel like you guys need to get better if you did?
Like I said, there was some good, there was some bad. And I think we can get better, always.
Yeah. Conscious are you of where the sideline is or where the end zone is when you're in that spot? Clearly you're in goal to go, but are you aware you're right up against the line as it's happening?
Yeah, I try to have awareness as I'm playing the game. So I would say I'm pretty aware of where I'm at on the field.
So you were confident that you were in bounds once you had the ball?
Oh, yeah, I was pretty confident, but I had to toe tap to make sure. Yeah.
How do you feel like you felt to fit in with the defense today?
Very well. I think we played pretty good as a unit.
That's Brandon Johnson breaking down his introduction to Autzen Stadium. One heck of a ball game for Brandon Johnson. Helped, really, Oregon in critical situations and the defense pull off a 24-14 victory over Idaho. Now, there's a lot more to continue to break down and continue to work on headed into next week against Boise State. Dan Lanning, he will meet with the media tonight in his weekly press conference. So we'll hear from Dan Lanning tonight again as Oregon has now gone to the doctor. Dan Lanning has had the opportunity to review some of the film. Joey will have that on the show tomorrow. Also, Athletic Director Tuesday coming up tomorrow. And how about Oregon volleyball? It was a tight battle in a sweep on Friday against Pitt, which Oregon dropped. The Ducks bounced back against a really strong and experienced Long Beach State squad in a sweep again on Sunday. Joey will break it down with Coach Ulmer tomorrow. Same with Dan Lanning. HJ Cohn in studio. See everybody. Go Ducks.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds